All right, good morning. Hey, Fred here. Just working on the Sprinter van still. It's gonna be going on for a while. Right now, what we're doing is working on putting in the rear factory floor section. So I got to pull out these factory D-rings and get those out of here. Then from there, probably have to move the van forward because there's not a whole lot of room to get that floor in here. So anyway, here we go. All right, so working on the floor. These factory floors come with basically some spacers of plywood. They are stapled on with some really short staples. Anyway, I go back through and I use some countersunk screws, and I either reattach ones that have fallen off or I secure ones that are still on. But basically, when you're moving these things around, they tend to fall off. So just a little precaution helps in the future, because I gotta put this in the van. We'll take it camping, we'll pull it back out. We'll modify it a little bit, I think, for some Legend wheel well covers. Anyway, it'll eventually go back in there and get a nice coin mat floor glued down to it. So anyway, that's what we need for now. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing put in the van. Alright, so working on the floor install. I wasn't able to get this seam to match back up right this second. I'll put a little more work into it when I put it in for the final, but probably have to bevel and make sure there's nothing it's been damaged. Anyway, it'll go back together fine, just not gonna do it right now. One thing you have to notice is that the factory puts on a bunch of super tough Loctite on these bolts for the D-rings. So anyway, I am gonna take a tap and chase those threads. So anyway, otherwise you could end up galling, you know, with all that glue in there. They end up heating up pretty good. They're hard to get out of there. That's why I was using that larger impact. I got tired of just wrenching them out with the ratchet. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Once I do that, then this floor will be down for temporary, which would be nice. And then I will start working on the vertical L tracks. I'll show you guys how I do that. I'll show you where I drill all the holes, how I drill them, how I countersink them, all that stuff. So anyway, bear with me, and yeah, we'll finish up this floor and then move on to the L tracks. So all right, so I got all the threads chased, at least for these back D-rings. Anyway, all my builds, I put in all the factory D-rings except for this one here. That's the one by the sliding door. Just ends up filling up full of dirt. So anyway, I fill that one in, and yeah, anyway, the rest of them super useful. Definitely the best tie downs in the van. So you can still use the van as a cargo van and tie down a Harley or whatever equipment, pallets, whatever you got. So anyway, I always leave them in. They are definitely super good to have. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and finish putting those guys in, put a little bit of Never-Seez on the bolts, and yeah, move forward. All right, so anyway, this is the factory floor install. We put in, you know, the bench seat rails, so now we have a cargo van that is, you know, it's a crew van, in essence. We will be putting in a window where a crew van normally does have one. Anyways, just tempting. I didn't put all the D-rings in. I didn't get this floor lined up just perfectly. I really put in these back D-rings just to kind of flatten out this large piece of plywood. So anyway, yeah, it's looking good. That's nice and flat. Allow us to clean it better while we're out camping. And I don't know if we have to sleep on the floor. If I don't get the beds done, then, you know, then we have this and we can sleep on the floor and it's not so bumpy. So before I put the floor down again, these rear holes here, these guys will get filled in. They'll get a backer plate like that other D-ring up there in the door opening. And then those will get filled in with a floor filler. This whole floor will get drilled and have screws holding it down there, countersunk screws, and then those all get filled in. We'll sand the whole floor to etch it, and then we'll glue a nice coin mat rubber floor onto it. So anyway, yeah, so we're coming right along. Next up is some wall L-track and then into the bed platforms. Basically have a week. Today's Thursday. Have 1 week to get the beds done. Shouldn't be a problem. So 6 pieces L-track. Really only 4 of them are needed for the beds, but I'll do all 6 anyway. And yeah, so anyway, stay tuned. L-track's next, and then welded bed frames and 1.8" plywood decks. So anyway, yeah, if you want to see a finished van, go to fabvansllc.com and you can see a couple of the vans I've done previously. So anyway, this is what's coming. Thanks for watching. Take care.